Okay, so morning guys, welcome to another review. Just changed my camera from me, Matt, the Bearded Berserker. Hope you're having a great weekend out there, and I've been trying something new. Completely different review to what I normally do this morning, which is quite interesting. Before we start, huge massive thank you to each and every one of you out there, which is helping my channel, liking the videos, commenting on them, subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, where I'm trying to show you guys that there are some amazing products being made by smaller brands, individuals and craftsmen out there, and not these huge massive faceless brands and stuff like that. Now, I love crafts, if you know what I mean. I love some of the skills that people have in creating the things that they do, whether it's woodwork, metalwork, jewellery making, t-shirts, clothing, beard products, skin products, all stuff like that. Because to me, technically, it all kind of, if it's one person making something, it's kind of craft work, if you know what I mean, whatever it might be. Now, I have had a new review sent in to me to have a look at, give it a go, and to give you guys my honest opinion. So I've got my notes in front of me, I've got my coffee, which is good, and the review. So I've given this a go. I've had varying results. The wife has actually had a go as well, and which within like 5 minutes, her results are a lot better than mine. So here we go. Before we start as well, don't forget on 31st of October, funny enough, Halloween, I do have a live Halloween special with a few reviews going on, live giveaway as well, and a silent review and stuff like that. So please join me for that on the 31st. I'll be putting more information on Instagram and YouTube as to what time it's going to be, probably around about 8 o'clock-ish sort of time. But here we go. So with all products that I review, stuff that I go out and buy myself, stuff that gets sent through to me, I'm completely honest with the reviews that I do, okay? Because, like I say in pretty much most of my videos, that there is nothing worse as consumers. We go out and buy something, whatever it might be, falls apart, doesn't work, quality's not very good on it. So all the reviews that I do are completely honest, completely unbiased, and everything I do in my own opinion. So probably around about 4 days ago, I got a package through, and the other notes here, and enclosed was a letter. Dear Matt, I like these letters because it shows that people sort of care about what they're doing and making and stuff like that. Thank you for agreeing to review Nidavellnir's Nail Binding for Beginners Starter Kit. Nail binding, nail binding, needle binding is a Scandinavian name for this historic and cultural form of early single needle knitting. Nail binding predates knitting, and across the world there are many different cultural forms that have been discovered from archaeological remains all across different time periods. Nidavellnir's focus of Viking Age nail binding enables me to create strong, durable, warm textiles for people who either reenact the early medieval period or people who would like a unique traditional handmade item. The starter kit was created to encourage people to give this ancient craft a go and safeguard its use in teaching for future generations, which is really good, you know, because craftsmanship, whatever it might be, from woodworking, leatherworking, knitting and crafts and stuff like that, is a dying art when you consider you've got all these factories and stuff that are just making bits and pieces. So the actual art and crafts that people have and their knowledge, it's really nice to kind of like support it, help it, nurture it, and to try and keep it going, if you know what I mean. Otherwise it's going to die out and it'll just be another forgotten art. Traditional handmade item. The starter kit was created to encourage people to give this ancient craft a go and safeguard its use and teaching for future generations. Thank you for our chats back and forth to discuss supporting my small heritage craft shop. I hope you managed to give the nail binding starter kit a try. I look forward to seeing your endeavours. Happy nail binding. All the best, Bruni from York. So as the name suggests, it comes from York in the UK, or Jorvik, using the Viking name. So yeah, it's basically a kit that was sent through to me, and with a booklet, and shown kind of how to do this null binding. So inside we had their card. There you go. I will be putting links down below in the description box, so please give them a follow, help and support. And on the back it's got a historical craft shop that makes Viking age nail binded, nail binding, hats, socks, mittens and gloves. Customer orders taken. For further details, and like I say, I'll be putting links down below to their Instagram, Facebook and Etsy page. Inside of this kit, a few more cards there, was the Hessian bag that it came in. Again, with a null binding for beginners book by Emma Bruni Boast. 250 grams of 100% wool yarn moss green, 1 bone null binding needle, and obviously the book. So it came in this, which is nice. Inside you got your wool. This is the wool that you got. Quite a nice, decent sort of wool. Very, very nice. Moss green colour. You got your null binding needle, bone needle, which is ethically sourced, which is also good to hear. And inside, Null Binding for Beginners book by Emma Bruni Boast, or Boast. And inside as well, it's also signed, all the best, Matt, and thank you, Bruni. Hi, my name is Emma Bruni Boast. I'm a Viking Age archaeologist and historian. I'm also a passionate historical craftsperson and reenactor. I've been null binding for over a decade, and I wanted to share my skills and insight on this historical craft. I run my own heritage shop, Nidavellnir, from which I make and sell null binded items, most of these being custom made for people within the reenactment community and heritage industry, which is great. One of the most rewarding aspects of this craft is the chance to share it with people from across the globe at markets, workshops, and now through this book, promoting and educating people on the Viking Age is what I love, and I hope I can continue to do so for many years to come, and I hope you do too. I hope you enjoy this practical guide and will share your interest with this craft with others. So there you go. And signed as well, which is really nice. A beginner's book to null binding that starts with the basics. This book will enable you to learn, practice and develop this form of Viking Age knitting with ease. Easy to follow photo guide, with ease. An easy to follow photo guide with explanations along the way. Enjoy this traditional craft and study at your own pace. Now, bearing in mind, I've only given this a couple of days, okay? So inside the book, just going through it, the things you can make from hats and mittens, what you can make, the wool yarn itself, the needles, and all nice big writing, which is handy because I can actually read it without my glasses on as opposed to my notes and my writing style. So step-by-step instructions, how you do it. Now, there are also online many YouTube videos showing you how to do this. Just going to give you a quick flick through the book. But I decided not to go down that route, if you know what I mean. I decided, no, I'm going to give this a go. Look at that. You can make mittens. You can also make fingerless mittens and socks and all. Final note from the author: I hope you have found this guide helpful companion when starting out this enjoyable and rewarding craft. As with any new skill, practice really does make perfect. I need a lot more of that. So do not be disheartened. I wasn't disheartened, and I'll tell you why in a minute. If you make mistakes with your first stitches, knot or yarn, it happens to all wool workers from time to time. As you start to feel more confident, I wouldn't call myself as confident with this. We're creating basic stitches. You'll be able to experiment with different yarns and the best tension needed to achieve your ideal shapes. I didn't even need to worry about tension because when I show you what I've created, you are going to be blown away. Take pride in your accomplishments, and certainly need to do that with what I've created, and I hope you have many null binded accessories to treasure for years to come. Good luck in your crafting. Stay in touch with me. Basically, she also does online sort of tutoring as well, and you can message her and she'll tell you where you're going wrong. So I gave this a go, and on my first attempt, I was going for the mittens. Okay, I thought I'm going to make, because apparently Hats are quite tricky because you sort of start almost like crochet and then bring it down, widen it and widen it. So I thought the mittens are going to be slightly easier. So I've managed to create myself what I can class as a knot. And this is what I've created. Now, I'm not sure this is nail binding. I think this is more old man trying to work out what he's doing, but this is what I've created. Look at that, is spectacular. And also what I've decided you can do with this is you can make it into a nail binding ring and just tie it around you. Look at that. That's brilliant. So I've done probably about a quarter of a finger for some fingerless gloves, which is brilliant. I thought, no, I'm not going to give up there. You can use it as well if you've got a very small moustache, and you can leave this a bit longer and you can tie it around your head. So that it was my first attempt. On my second attempt, I managed something slightly worse. I managed to tie a series of knots in a piece of yarn, and I'm not sure what that middle loop is underneath. It could be for your nose, could be for your finger, you know, or almost like a pre-made nail binding ring. And so I wasn't getting on very well with it. Now, I don't have a problem with following instructions and stuff like that. If someone throws me a rabbit hole and says, there you go, that's for dinner tonight, I can basically sort of skin and fillet a rabbit in minutes, if you know what I mean. When you give me something like this, which I'm not extremely dexterous, if you know what I mean, I've got one finger that's constantly like that because I've broken all the tendons in it. I'm not a great seamstress, if you know what I mean. I can stitch a basic hole back together and stuff, going up and down, tight and not underneath. Great. So I thought what I'll do is I'll get the wife to come in and have a go. She literally sat there for 5 minutes with the book, a bit of yarn, and she's managed to come up with, yeah, okay, I know it's not quite as good as what I've created, but she is a lot better with this sort of stuff. She does knit anyway and crochet and stuff like that. And in what she's created in 5 minutes, that would have taken me a couple of days to do. Now, I do appreciate with everything in life, whatever you're starting out, whatever you're doing, time, patience, carrying on with it, you get better and better and better. But I'm sitting there and I've got sort of needle in one hand and yarn in the other, and I'm a bit all fingers and thumbs, if you know what I mean. It's kind of, I managed to knot it, but I have to admit, she's done a pretty good job in after 5 minutes, and I sat there scratching my head going, well, how did you manage to do that? And she said, well, I followed the book. And I said, how did you manage to follow it all right? And she said, yeah. She didn't find it too much of a problem at all. She kind of worked out what she was doing and everything. And that is what she has created. So pretty good. Looks a bit like a plait to me. I'm not sure whether that's the way it's supposed to be or whether it's supposed to be tighter and stuff like that. But she has done a lot better job than my kind of holy knot and my first one attempt. But yeah, with practice, you can definitely get better than this. Now, one thing that is nice as well is if you don't have skill, which I evidently don't, they do already sell pre-made socks, mittens, hats, fingerless mittens and stuff like that, which is great. Because I wouldn't say I haven't got the patience. I do have patience to do stuff and everything else like that. But I don't have a clue. You know, even with the book and everything like that, I'm sitting there, I'm scratching my head, and that's kind of like how you start making the tops from the hats and everything, which is pretty cool, and which is why I do take my hat off, pardon the expression, to a lot of these craftsmen out there that are making some amazing things. And to be honest, what my wife has created does somewhat look like that. So yeah, my wife knows what she's doing, and great. So I think it's a really good book, and I believe with time, effort, energy, and copious amounts of coffee, you can create something truly spectacular. But if you cannot do that, then obviously they do custom orders and stuff like that, so you can have your own stuff made for reenactment or just for artwork and stuff like that, which is really, really nice for those of us that don't have the skill. And the price of the kit itself is £58, which I know it might sound a lot, but with time and effort and patience, you're learning a brand new skill, which I think to me is invaluable, if you know what I mean. Whatever it might be, from woodworking, metalwork, forging, jewellery making and stuff like that, I believe that learning new skills is invaluable in life, because you never know where you might get stuck in the middle of nowhere, have one needle and some wool and have to make some gloves or a hat or something like that, because I'm into the whole sort of survival and bushman stuff and everything like that. And so I think it is really good. I think the book is relatively easy to follow, unless you're me. And I sort of kind of saw the picture, like, what? How am I going to do this? But I gave it a go. And with time and effort, I think I could tie knots in some bits of yarn, so I think I could get better. They do sell all the supplies and everything that you need for doing this, and the ethically sourced bone needle. There you go. And I think it's really good, you know. And the cool thing is as well, they do YouTube videos. If you've got any problems or hassles like that, they're quite happy to answer questions. And it's really nice to see the passion that's going into what they're creating, what they're making, and the craft that they're actually doing, if you know what I mean, which is so nice to see, as opposed to, well, there you go, get on with it. It was literally any problems, get in touch. And I was doing it purely from the fact of, let's sit here with a book, see what I can create. And I think, to be honest, my creations are not bad for... I know, well, they are. They're pretty terrible, but it's a nice little key fob. It's the start of a rig. It can be a start of a pair of mittens. It can be the start of a moustache cover, should you need a moustache cover in your life. And I highly rate what they're doing. And it is a tradition and a skill that does need to be carried on. And it's a fantastic craft. Thank you so much to Nidavellnir for sending that. Sorry, is when you get sort of like these sorts of names, it's hard to work out what it is. Thank you so much to Emma anyway for sending that through. It's absolutely fantastic, and I look forward to hopefully showing you a couple of months time something that I've actually created. I might try and make a balaclava. I might just, I don't know, do a 6-finger mitten or something like that, because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be able to create, but I look forward to giving it some more time, seeing what I create, and I hope you have enjoyed this review this Sunday. Now, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Links will be down below, so if you're into your knitting and crafts and Viking history and stuff like that, please give them some support, help and follow them, and thank you. Have a great day wherever you are. It's horrible murky weather here, it's raining and nasty. But so keep on taking care of each other. Keep on helping and supporting each other. Above all, keep on loving each other and growing those beards if you're growing one. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next review from me, Matt, the partially knitting, nail binding, bearded berserker. Have a great one, guys. Thank you.